Every summer, millions of homeowners walk up to their thermostat and flip the switch to cool. Within seconds, a rush of icy cold air begins, pouring out of the ceiling vents into every room. It feels like magic, and most people assume the air conditioner is simply manufactured inside a box and blown into the house. But here is the physical truth. There is no machine inside your home that actually creates cold. In physics, cold is not something you can manufacture. Cold is simply the total absence of heat energy. Your central air conditioner does something far more impressive than making cold air. It continuously steals heat from inside your rooms and dumps it outdoors. It repeats this thermal transfer process over and over again, even on a blistering 100-degree summer day. Once you understand this single core idea, every valve, coil, pipe, and motor in your HVAC system suddenly makes complete sense. In this video, we are going to trace the full journey of heat energy from start to finish. We will uncover how your compressor, evaporator, coil, condenser, expansion valve, and ductwork operate together behind your walls. We will also reveal the single clogged $5 drain, line that causes over $10,000 in hidden drywall damage. By the time this video finishes, you will understand your home's central air system better than 95% of homeowners. So grab a seat, subscribe to the channel, and let's dive into the secret mechanics of residential air conditioning. To understand your air conditioner, we first have to understand the fundamental law of thermal energy transfer. Heat always naturally flows from warmer objects toward cooler objects, never the other way around. Think of heat like water. Water naturally flows downhill from high elevation to low elevation. Your house acts like a heat magnet during the summer months. Sunlight bakes your roof shingles, warm outdoor air seeps through wall framing, and appliances inside generate internal heat. Without mechanical cooling, all of that thermal energy gets trapped inside your drywall and insulation. Your air conditioner acts like a thermal sump pump, actively lifting that trapped heat and throwing it out of your house. To move heat against its natural flow, your system uses a specialized chemical fluid called refrigerant. Refrigerant has a unique physical property. It boils and turns from liquid to gas at extremely low temperatures. When any liquid boils into a vapor, it absorbs a massive amount of thermal energy from its surroundings. Conversely, when that vapor condenses back into a liquid, it releases all of that stored heat energy outwards. Your HVAC system continuously cycles this refrigerant between a liquid state and a gaseous state inside a sealed loop. This sealed loop consists of 4 primary components connected by insulated copper tubing. 2 of these components reside outdoors in your yard, and 2 reside inside your home's air handler unit. Let's begin our journey outside at the heart of the entire refrigeration system, the compressor. The outdoor unit sitting in your yard is often called the condenser, but inside its metal cage sits the compressor pump. The compressor is a heavy-duty electric pump that acts as the mechanical heart pushing refrigerant through the entire system. Refrigerant enters the compressor as a cool, low-pressure vapor, carrying heat that was collected from inside your house. The compressor tightly squeezes that gaseous refrigerant into a much smaller volume. According to basic gas laws, when you compress a gas into a smaller space, its pressure and temperature skyrocket. By the time the refrigerant leaves the top of the compressor, it has transformed into a superheated, high-pressure gas. In fact, this gas is now significantly hotter than the outdoor summer air surrounding your house. This temperature difference is the secret trick that allows the system to dump indoor heat into a hot outdoor environment. Because the gas is hotter than the outside air, heat will naturally flow out of the refrigerant and into the atmosphere. Next, this superheated gas flows directly into the surrounding outdoor condenser coils, a large electric fan mounted on top of the outdoor unit pulls outside air across these thin aluminum coil fins. As the outdoor air passes over the hot coils, it absorbs heat from the refrigerant gas inside. If you have ever stood next to an operating outdoor AC unit, you noticed a stream of hot air blowing out the top. That hot exhaust air is literally the heat that was sitting inside your kitchen and bedrooms just moments ago. As the refrigerant gas loses its thermal energy to the outdoor air, it cools down and condenses back into a high-pressure liquid. This liquid refrigerant leaves the outdoor unit through a small insulated copper pipe called the liquid line. Now, we have high-pressure, warm liquid refrigerant traveling out of the yard and heading into the house toward the indoor unit. Before this warm liquid refrigerant can absorb more heat, its temperature and pressure must be drastically reduced. To achieve this, the liquid refrigerant passes through a metering device known as the thermostatic expansion valve, or TXV. The expansion valve acts like a high-pressure nozzle, or spray bottle restriction in the copper line. It forces the high-pressure liquid refrigerant through, a tiny opening into a low-pressure area, when a pressurized liquid suddenly expands into a low-pressure space. Its pressure drops instantly. Along with this pressure drop comes a massive, instantaneous drop in liquid temperature. The refrigerant leaves the expansion valve as an icy cold mixture of liquid spray and cold vapor at roughly 35 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this super chilled refrigerant enters the indoor evaporator, coil located inside your home's air handler unit. The evaporator coil is typically shaped like the letter A or N, made of copper tubes surrounded by hundreds of delicate aluminum fins. While this ice-cold refrigerant circulates through the evaporator coil, tubes, your indoor blower fan kicks into high gear. The blower fan pulls warm, humid air out of your living rooms through return air grills and pushes it across the cold evaporator coil. As the warm room air passes over the 35-degree copper tubes, thermal transfer occurs instantaneously. The heat energy inside the house air rushes into the cold refrigerant, causing the refrigerant inside the tubes to boil into a gas. Because the house air just lost almost all of its thermal energy to the refrigerant, its temperature drops by 15 to 20 degrees. This temperature drop between return air and supply air is called the temperature split, or delta T. If your system has a healthy 18 to 20 degree temperature split, your refrigeration cycle is functioning efficiently. This chilled, refreshed air is then pushed out through your home's insulated supply ducts and back into your living spaces. Meanwhile, the refrigerant inside the evaporator coil has completely oiled back into a warm gas, carrying the indoor heat. This warm gas exits the indoor evaporator coil and travels through the thick, insulated copper suction line back outside. It enters the outdoor compressor pump, and the entire heat removal loop repeats all over again. As long as your thermostat calls for cooling, this continuous thermal loop transfers billions of heat energy particles every hour. However, cooling room air is only half of your air conditioner's job. The second half is dehumidification. High humidity makes 75-degree air feel hot and sticky because sweat cannot evaporate easily from your skin. Fortunately, your evaporator coil acts as an automatic moisture removal system. When warm, humid room air hits the 35-degree evaporator coil, fins, moisture in the air condenses into liquid water droplets. This is the exact same physics principle that causes water droplets to form on the outside of a cold glass of ice water. Gallons of moisture condense out of your indoor air every single day, collecting in a drain pan beneath the evaporator coil. This condensed water drains out of your house through a 3-4-inch white PVC pipe called the primary condensate drain line. In most homes, this PVC line drains safely outside near your foundation wall or connects to a dedicated plumbing drain. However, because this water contains dust, algae spores, and airborne debris, the PVC drain line frequently gets clogged. If the primary drain line clogs, water backs up and overflows the primary drain pan inside your air handler. If your air handler is installed in an attic or ceiling closet, an overflowing drain pan can cause catastrophic ceiling damage. To prevent this $10,000 disaster, modern building codes require a secondary emergency drain pan and a float switch. A float switch contains a small plastic float puck that rises if water begins filling the emergency secondary pan. When the float puck rises, it opens an electrical switch that cuts low voltage power to your outdoor compressor instantly. Your fan might continue blowing, but the compressor shuts down, preventing any further condensation from forming. If your AC suddenly stops cooling, but the thermostat is still on, a tripped float switch caused by a clogged PVC drain is often the culprit. Pouring 1 cup of plain white vinegar down your PVC condensate cleanout access cap every 3 months prevents algae clogs. This simple 2-minute maintenance step keeps your drain line clear and protects your ceiling from water destruction. Now let's examine the delivery highway that moves this conditioned air throughout your entire home, the ductwork network. Ductwork systems consist of 2 separate loops, the return duct system and the supply duct system. The return system pulls warm air out of your rooms through large grills and returns it to the air handler for cooling. Right before this return air enters the evaporator coil, it must pass through your HVAC air filter. The primary purpose of your HVAC air filter is not to clean the air you breathe. It is to protect the evaporator coil from dust. Aluminum evaporator coil fins are spaced mere millimeters apart. Dust buildup acts like a blanket, blocking thermal transfer. If dust coats the evaporator coil fins, air cannot touch the cold copper tubes, and your system loses cooling capacity rapidly. Even worse, restricted airflow across a 35-degree evaporator coil causes the coil temperature to drop below freezing. When moisture in the air hits a sub-freezing coil, it freezes solid, turning your evaporator coil into a solid block of ice. Once an evaporator coil freezes solid, airflow stops completely, and liquid refrigerant can flood back to destroy your compressor. Replacing your air filter every 30 to 60 days is the single most important maintenance task any homeowner can perform. However, avoid buying ultra-dense MERV 13 filters unless your HVAC duct system was specifically engineered for them. High MERV filters act like a brick wall to standard blower motors, reducing airflow and causing premature coil freeze-ups. For most standard residential systems, a quality pleated MERV 8 to MERV 11 filter offers the optimal balance of filtration and airflow. Once air passes safely through the filter and evaporator coil, the blower motor pushes it into the supply plenum. The supply plenum splits the air into main duct trunks, which branch off into smaller, flexible ducts connected to individual room registers. Proper duct sizing and balancing is critical to ensure equal airflow reaches distant bedrooms and central living spaces. Leaky duct connections in unconditioned attics can waste up to 30% of your cooling energy into the attic space. Sealing duct joints with approved mastic sealant or foil tape keeps cold air flowing into your living spaces where it belongs. The conductor directing this entire thermal orchestra is your wall thermostat. Your thermostat monitors ambient room temperature using an internal thermistor sensor. When room temperature rises above your set point, the thermostat closes a low-voltage 24-volt relay switch. This 24-volt signal travels down control wires to energize the outdoor contactor switch and indoor blower relay simultaneously. The outdoor contactor acts as a heavy-duty magnetic switch that connects 240-volt high-voltage power to the compressor and fan motor. The moment that contactor closes, 240 volts of electricity energize the compressor windings, and the cooling cycle begins. A start capacitor provides an initial electrical boost to overcome mechanical inertia and spin the compressor motor up to speed. Weak or failed capacitors account for over 40% of all summer service calls when an AC unit refuses to turn on. Replacing a $20 run capacitor before it fails prevents compressor overheating and expensive motor burnout. Let's summarize the complete residential cooling cycle from start to finish. 1. Thermostat senses heat and sends a 24-volt signal to start the system. 2. Compressor squeezes low-pressure refrigerant vapor into a superheated high-pressure gas. 3. Outdoor condenser fan dumps that heat into the outdoor air, condensing gas into high-pressure liquid. 4. Expansion valve flashes the liquid into a cold 35-degree spray entering the indoor evaporator coil. 5. Indoor blower pushes warm house air over the cold coil. Heat moves into refrigerant, and cold air returns to your rooms. 6. Moisture condenses out of the air, draining safely through the PVC line, while refrigerant carries heat back outside. All of these mechanical steps happen seamlessly every single second your air conditioner runs. Understanding these basics empowers you to make smart maintenance decisions and protect your home from unnecessary repairs. Before you schedule your next AC tune-up or buy a new system, download our free homeowner's HVAC inspection and checklist PDF. This free guide gives you the exact questions to ask technicians, target pressure ranges, and filter replacement schedules. Click the first link in the description below to grab your free copy right now. If you are building, renovating, or upgrading a mechanical system in Central Florida, visit our contracting team at rescomcontractors.net. If this video helped demystify your home's air conditioner, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below telling us which home system you want us to deconstruct next: electrical panels, roof trusses,